shortage problems continue to be a hot topic. We'll take a look at the latest numbers.
Plus, Chambers County is awaiting a visit from Governor Rick Perry this morning.
A look and leave. We are 2 hours into it for the people from Jamaica Beach. We'll give you details coming up in a live report.
Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, September 20th. Thanks for joining us on our continuing coverage of the aftermath of Hurricane Ike. I'm Tom Cook.
And I'm Elisa Rivas. And we are also here with a guest in studio.
We are. He's Stephen McNeil, and he is the president of the local chapter of the National Association of Remodeling Industry.
Remodeling Industry.
Renovating, remodeling. Just about the same thing, but at this particular point in time, how do you go about picking someone to remodel or renovate your house?
Well, thanks for having me on this morning. It is very tricky in these times. There's a lot of people who are out there trying to get work. The best suggestion I can make is to try to find a reputable contractor. You could check the National Association of Remodeling Industry and see if they are a member of that industry. You can also
have a website to go to?
We have a website, narihouston.com.
N-A-R-I.
N-A-R-I, Houston.com. So you can check there, and then another great way to check out the reputation of a contractor is through the Better Business Bureau.
Those are great ways to check out contractors, but most people, or many people I would imagine, are going to have to bring their insurance companies into this. So before any work begins, before people get bids for their homes, when does the insurance adjuster need to be brought in? Right at the beginning, before you hire the contractor? Do you get to hire the contractor of your choice? How do you do kind of that three-way dance between all of you?
You really need to work with the insurance adjuster, but you certainly need to make the phone call right away. There are some people whose houses are open to the elements, and then you have to deal with that right away because the insurance adjuster will not come immediately. They have so many claims that they will be, days and sometimes weeks away. So talk to your insurance company. You can proceed with boarding up your home, emergency repairs,
right.
Fixing your roof. If you have water in your house, it is extremely important that you cut away all the sheetrock, at least up to 2 feet, maybe even 4 feet, depending on the level of water that's in your home to begin the drying out process.
Can you always see the water? Because my understanding, too, is that sometimes it's evident that there may be water in your walls, and it's not obvious from a visual check on the outside if you're not experienced looking for that kind of thing.
Right. Exactly, which is why it's important to get the sheetrock cut away, because the worst thing that can happen is for you to have left your home as is condition and have the water be there. You can't see it, but then the mold and mildew will bloom after a few days because it's soaking wet and if there's insulation in the exterior walls.
Interesting that one of my neighbors had a roof problem, but no water that leaked in, and wondering where in the world that water might have gone. And that's a good question because he's wondering, did it go inside the walls? The attic is dry, so there's a lot of things that you need to check, and a good remodeler or somebody that is experienced in the renovating industry obviously would know about those things.
Right, you would want to come in and check all the walls, check the insulation, check the sheetrock. You can put a moisture meter on it to determine if the level of moisture is high, even though you can't see it.
Right.
We could sense it with a particular meter. So it's something that you would want to hire a professional to come in and check that out, because we want to make sure that the repairs are done in a good way.
Yeah, the real problem is people, as you said, make a shotgun decision off the bat and they just want to get the thing fixed. But you want to make sure you're not hiring somebody who says, hey, just give me $1,000, and the next thing they're driving off in the car after half an hour's work.
We hear those stories all the time during crises like these, where people want to trust another person who's coming up to make the repairs, but they take your money and they're gone. I would really suggest trying to find someone who is local. Make sure that they have a local phone number. Check them out on the phone book. Check them out through NARI or the BBB, and make sure you're working with a company that you'll be able to find a year from now in case you have problems with the repairs.
Okay.
So contractors, I would imagine, are overwhelmed at this point. How long can people expect to wait if they have major repairs?
Oh, some of that is dependent on the relationship with the insurance company, but certainly I think you might expect to wait a month, 2 months, even 3 months. You want to get the emergency repairs taken care of immediately, but then the settlement process with your insurance company will sometimes delay the start of the process.
Look at this house. You're seeing the video now. This is a place that has to be torn down, can't be renovated.
Right, exactly. Scraped and rebuilt.
What's the guideline for that in terms of scraped and rebuilt versus remodeling and not knocking it to the ground?
I would look at the percentage of damage, and the insurance company will actually make that determination. But you would want to, remodeling costs are higher than new construction costs. When you have to go in and demo a wall to rebuild a wall, typically remodeling costs are always higher than new construction costs. If you are able to demolish the house and build a brand new house from the ground up, that'll actually be more cost effective. So you look at the costs and say, well, if I have to rebuild over 50% of my house, it may be less expensive just to rebuild.
I would imagine this question goes along with repairs large and small, but what should the expectation be in advance before any hammer hits a nail? What should be outlined between you and your contractor? Do you need an actual contract? Should money exchange hands at least a little bit before the work starts? What's the expectation from contractors and customers?
You certainly want a written agreement outlining exactly what the contractor's supposed to be doing.
And dates too, when it's finished?
Well, dates when it's finished, that is always a moving target in my industry. Things typically take longer than you ever think that they will, especially, it's so difficult getting materials right now and getting labor right now to get different, if you have the plumber, you have the electrician, you have the HVAC systems guy, you have so many different trades that are responsible for their part of the process, and to coordinate all that takes a lot of doing. And so you certainly want a starting date, you want an ideal ending date, and the main thing you want to know is that they're going to start and then continue to work in a good way until completion. In a contract, the main thing you're looking for is what exactly are we doing? Not just we're going to replace the whole roof. Am I replacing the decking? Are we putting plywood, or are we putting oriented strand board? Are we putting a 30-year shingle? Are we putting a 40-year shingle? I mean, really specify. Look for the specifications of what products they're going to use so that you know what you're going to get in the end.
And that's where you will run the difference between a licensed professional and someone who's a fly-by-night. Because when someone is a fly-by-night just writes down, I'm going to fix your roof, or I'm going to fix your brick. Let me talk about roofs just for a second. A lot of people have had holes punched in the roofs or shingles missing. Should you expect the insurance company will pay for an entire new roof?
No, typically the insurance company will not. They'll assess the condition of the shingles, and if the shingles are relatively new, then you can make a repair on the roof. If they determine that the shingles cannot be, essentially you're going to lift the shingle up and you're going to slide the new shingle into it. If you can't lace the shingles in, then the roof would have to be replaced. That's essentially the insurance adjuster's call.
Okay. And you have no recourse if the insurance adjuster says you don't need a new roof, or you don't need a new brick wall, or you don't need a new siding?
You have a right of appeals. You can appeal within, say you have a particular insurance company, you have an adjuster that comes out and says, hey, I'm only going to give you X dollars because your roof doesn't need full repair, you just need this minor repair. You can appeal through the insurance company.
Okay.
And then if you don't like the settlement that you get from the insurance company, you can actually appeal to the state. So don't sign off on your insurance settlement until you are satisfied that you're getting full value for what you think your house is worth, which is where it's really good to work with a professional contractor, because he can help you understand what the value of the repairs are and making sure that you do get a full settlement.
And that contractor is probably going to be making statements to your insurance company and probably giving voice to your appeal in that respect, kind of a testimony.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Can I just hit on one more thing around the contracts? Is make sure when you do sign an agreement that we talked about giving money up front. We all hear the stories about people being ripped off, taking cash up front. Don't ever give cash to anybody who comes up to your door. Make sure you're writing a check to a company, and that typically I would expect that you would want to pay somewhere maybe 10% down, 20% down. I mean, most reputable companies are going to be able to go in and perform the job. You shouldn't be paying someone 50% down or 70% down to get the work done. That's a sign of someone who might be planning on taking your money, and you won't see them again. And then the other thing, just as another resource for the community, is we do have the Texas Residential Construction Commission. If you are a builder or a remodeler in the state of Texas, you have to be registered with the Texas Residential Construction Commission, or the TRCC as it's known.
Right.
So if you're a siding company or a roofing company, you do not fall under the guise of the TRCC. So if you're looking to have minor repairs done, you will not find, typically you will not find that company listed under the TRCC. But if you are doing major repairs, go ahead and check the TRCC website, verify that the builder or remodeler is registered with the TRCC, because that is the law.
Okay, or NARI.com, right?
Or NARIHouston.com.
NARIHouston.com.
Absolutely, and definitely check, and you can also check out the BBB website, Better Business Bureau, and check their track record there also.
All right, Stephen McNeil, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
The local president of the National Association of the Remodeling Industry. Appreciate your time and your expertise.